Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and I have been playing a lot of Super Mario Galaxy recently, and let me tell you, there are few things you can do in a video game more satisfying than fly through space collecting as many of those delightful, colorful star bits as you can. I mean, I have literally collected thousands of little things. You know, I wonder what they actually are. Starbits are modeled after the Japanese centuries-old candy Konbito. Konbito is a Japanese sugar candy. And I've collected thousands of them. That can't be very good for your health. Alright, you know what? I've decided I am going cold turkey on these caloric packets starting today. No more Starbits for me. In fact, I'm going to beat Super Mario Galaxy without collecting a single one. I mean, how hard can it be? Well, let's find out. Is it possible to beat Super Mario Galaxy without collecting any Starbits? Let's just start by laying out the rules. What does not collecting any Starbits entail? Well, obviously we can't run into them. If you point a cursor at them, that's collecting Starbits. If you hit a question mark block that automatically gives us a Starbits, that's also collecting Starbits. Basically, if the Starbit counter goes up for any reason at all, then we have collected some Starbits and have to exit the level. And if we so desire, try it again from the very beginning. Our goal will be to collect 60 stars and then beat the final Bowser level all without collecting any Starbits. Now, before we jump into a level-by-level analysis, let's talk about some general quirks about this run and strategies we'll use to overcome them. Obviously, we'll be avoiding Starbits like the plague. If there are Starbits within Mario's reach, we'll be staying far away from them. And if we do have to get close, we'll be very careful so as not to touch any of them. We'll also be pointing the Wii Remote away from the screen at almost all times, so there's virtually no chance of collecting Starbits with the pointer. There will be levels that require us to point at the screen, pull stars come to mind, and when we do have to point at the screen, we will be very cautious. Now would be a good time to note that boss fights are going to be a bit trickier. This is because whenever you hit a boss in Super Mario Galaxy, it releases a fairly large quantity of Starbits. Bosses fought in cramped areas are likely to be a pain in this run. And speaking of enemies releasing Starbits, we'll try to minimize the risk of collecting Starbits dropped by regular enemies by jumping on most of them instead of spin attacking. Lastly, before we start the run, let's realize that there's actually a good number of stars that we definitely cannot do without collecting Starbits. Of the 120 stars in the game, we need 61 of them for a run. However, that 61 obviously can't include any of the 15 purple coin comets, since those only appear after beating the game. We also can't use any of the 7 Hungry Luma Galaxies, or the one other star that only unlocks after you've beaten a Hungry Luma Galaxy, since we obviously need to collect Starbits to feed the Lumas. And finally, there are 6 hidden stars that require you to feed a Hungry Luma. Again, for obvious reasons, we can't get those stars. One of those hidden stars is a green star, and since we can't get it, that also means all 3 of the Triangle Galaxies can't be reached either. So that means we need to get 61 stars out of a possible pool of 88. And with that established, let's go. The first level on our journey is obviously the first star in the game, Grand Star Rescue. It is raining Starbits in the beginning of the level, but they're honestly quite easy to dodge, and the level after that part is a cakewalk, with the only thing remotely resembling a problem being Starbits lurking in the grass on the planet with the bunnies. No problems here. Next up is the first level in Good Egg Galaxy. Again, the opening of this level features a Starbits raining from above, and again, they're actually quite easy to dodge. The boss planet has tons of Starbits, but I somehow managed to not run into them, so I guess it wasn't that hard. Star 2, down. Now the second level in Good Egg Galaxy is, interesting. So interesting, in fact, that in order to preserve the pace of this part of the video, we'll be talking about it later. For now, though, let's move on to Good Egg Galaxy Level 3, which honestly may be the easiest level we've done to this point. Moving on. With Good Egg Galaxy finished, for now, there's nowhere to go but Honey Hive. literally. And boy, is this star a doozy. We'll come back to this one. For now, let's just assume we did Honey Hive 1, no problem, and advance to Honey Hive 2, which can be done without much issue, though I did learn that ground pounding apparently attracts nearby starbits. Who would have thought? Next up is Honey Hive's third star, which is a little more than a boss fight, and a boss fight that's easy to do without getting starbits at that. Now we just need to get one more star before unlocking the enemy base, so let's do Flip Switch Galaxy, which as far as I can tell doesn't actually have any starbits, so we just play the levels normal. With 8 stars collected, it's now time to go face Mega Leg. Could this boss fight throw up a huge roadblock in our path? No. Moving on. Although before we move on to the fountain, let's grab Loop-de-Loop's star real quick. As it turns out, your cursor entirely disappears while ray surfing, and there aren't any starbits within Mario's reach, so once again we play the level as you normally would. Now that our business on the terrace is wrapped up, let's go to the fountain and take on the first star in Space Junk Galaxy. Yeah, I figured this one would be trouble, and I was right. We'll address it in more detail later. Luckily for us though, the other 2 main stars in Space Junk aren't nearly as bad. Though I will note that the boss fight with the spider is a bit tricky due to it taking place in 2D. I haven't mentioned this yet, but 2D sections are most likely going to be pretty tricky on this run, due to having less dimensions with which to maneuver around starbits. Hey look, now that we've collected 13 stars, comets exist! Hooray! Let's just take advantage of this real quick and do the Dino Piranha speedrun. The level is no more difficult than normal, and we nab our 14th star with ease. We're now only 1 star away from unlocking the fountain's enemy base, and that star will be coming from Rolling Green Galaxy. Now unlike Loop-de-Loop, this motion control galaxy does actually put starbits directly in our path, but, and this almost certainly will become a running theme, if you don't touch the question mark coins, it's not that bad. Alright, it's Bowser time! Will this galaxy pose a threat to our advancement? Has Bowser discovered that Mario's one weakness is diabetes? No, he hasn't. No problems to report here. Well, after beating Bowser, we can clearly take the heat, so let's get in the kitchen. First order, 1 healthy helping of all 3 main stars in Beach Bowl. They're all easy. Moving on. But hey, the hidden star is a bit tricky. We'll talk about it later. Let's just assume that hidden star went well, and head into Ghostly Galaxy. Level 1 is easy as long as you know how to do a wall jump then spin. I thought level 2 would be tough, being Polestar based and all, but actually it's incredibly easy. What isn't easy is Beware of Bouldergeist, for reasons that we'll delve into further later. Well, presuming we can beat Bouldergeist, we now have enough stars to enter Bowser Jr.'s Airship Armada. And if we ignore the fact that I'm, for some reason, usually terrible at this particular level anyways, it's pretty easy. That is to say, getting no starbits doesn't make much of a difference. We've had our nice starbit-free meal from the kitchen, and now it's time to head for the bedroom. First on the list is Gusty Garden Galaxy, and although I still have yet to learn the whole don't touch question mark coins thing, the first 2 levels go by without incident. Now it's time for the 3rd level. Things are going well until I ran into this. Now it's very well maybe possible to grab that star chip without touching any of those starbits, but frankly we've got other level options at this stage of the game, and we'll move on to greener pastures without obtaining this star. Oh, hey guys, Battle Rock Galaxy still exists, doesn't it? Let's go there. It's a fountain galaxy, how hard can it really be? We'll talk more about all 3 of the main stars in Battle Rock a bit later. For now, let's just head over to Hurry Scurry Galaxy, you know, while we're in the area. Now, with an opening planet that looks like this, you'd think that we're in for a pretty tough star, and you'd be dead wrong. This star is actually surprisingly easy. Now we only need 3 more stars to unlock the next Bowser level. So let's do Freeze Flame Galaxy. And by do Freeze Flame Galaxy, I mean do the hidden star, and then the first star, and then the comets. Yeah, weird order, I know. But the good news is that none of them are too much trouble. Although I will note that Baron Bird's boss fight is kinda scary when you consider how small the arena you normally fight him in is. Well, it's now time to take on Bowser's Dark Matter Plant. Could this be the level that truly makes Starbit collection inevitable? No. With Bowser knocked out in the bedroom, we can now go to the engine room. But first, let's actually do the normal stars in Freeze Flame Galaxy. Star 2 is not all that bad, although we have to be wary since the sea urchins drop starbits when you kill them. Since the cosmic race happened in the same area as the end of the third star, I figured the third star would be no problem. It was a bit harder as the starbit placement is a bit more aggressive, but with a bit more caution, still perfectly doable. For now though, let's rescue Luigi in Good Eye Galaxy. See bro, this is why the roofing business failed. Alright, with Luigi saved and Icy Hot fully applied, it's probably about time to check out the engine room. The first star we're tackling is Star Bunnies on the Hunt in Goldleaf Galaxy. It's incredibly easy. Now for the second star in Goldleaf Galaxy, and let me tell you, as much as I love these Cataquacks, their stars always seem to be such a pain to do without getting any starbits. Put this level on the list of ones we're looking at later. Moving on, while the third star in Goldleaf Galaxy certainly seems to want to give us starbits, it does so pretty ineptly. No major issues here. Next up, we're going to Sea Slide Galaxy. Time to swim! And then swim again! And now we're swimming in a race! Wait, we just did that, right? No, this is right. We are swimming in a race. Alright. And then we'll grab some silver stars! In summary, all main stars in Sea Slide, as well as the comet, pose no real threat to our run. After all that swimming, let's take to the skies and tackle Honeyclimb Galaxy. What awaits us here? Just a few rings that are easy to avoid, as it turns out. Well, now that we have 45 stars, it's time to go to Bowser Jr.'s lava reactor. And what do you know, somehow the starbits in this boss fight against King Caliente are actually easier to avoid than before. I thought it couldn't be done, but Bowser Jr. never fails to impress. Now with the last Bowser Jr. level behind us, we can progress to the garden. But first, let's grab Gateway's purple coins. With a bit of patience, it's quite easy, although, did you know that if you spin while flying, starbits get attracted to you? I didn't until now. Alright, now we've made it to the garden proper. I guess we might as well start with Deep Dark Galaxy. I thought the difficulty might start to ramp up now that we've entered the garden, but no, all three main stars in Deep Dark are very doable without collecting starbits. Moving on to Dreadnought. Oh, that's part of the first star. I'm pretty sure that wall jump is not possible without collecting starbits, and I'm not aware of another way through the level, so I guess we'll have to write this one off and go elsewhere. How about Toy Time? Oh, this launch star in the first level makes us collect starbits. I don't think this level is possible either. In that case, let's try Dusty Dune Galaxy. This level is pretty tricky. It has a 2D section, which is almost always bad news, but seems to be doable. Until you get to this part, that is. This question mark coin makes starbits appear in this 2D wall jumping section. Once that happens, as far as I can tell, the level's impossible. Unfortunately, I could not for the life of me land without touching that coin, and believe me, I tried. I'll concede that this level may be possible, but for now, let's just write it off. And just like that, we've eliminated another 15 stars from the pool of potential stars we could get. We're down to a potential pool of only 72 stars, and just as a reminder, we need 61. We can only afford to lose 11 more. For now, let's regroup by returning to Beach Bowl for the Fast Foes Comet, which is just as easy to do starbitless as the regular one. And while we're in the kitchen, let's pick up both the normal and hidden stars from Buoy Base. Neither of them are particularly difficult to get whilst not getting starbits. Oh, we've unlocked Melty Molten Galaxy now. I can't wait to go through the normal stars of a major galaxy again. Oh. Another launch star just dying to introduce us to its annoying starbit friends. How lovely. With the first level of Melty Molten being impossible, that's another 4 stars knocked out of our potential pool, which has shrunk now to just 68 stars. That margin just keeps getting smaller, doesn't it? Oh well, I guess we'll just go to a galaxy that we know isn't impossible. Hello, Deep Dark, my old friend. We can easily pick up both the hidden star and the comet in Deep Dark without collecting any starbits. Just 5 more stars until we can face the final level now. To that end, let's head over to Ghosty Galaxy and pick up the hidden star. While this question mark coin, which you have to grab to beat the level, is certainly trying its best to slip some star bits into our pockets, it is an obstacle that we can overcome. One more star for us. We can also grab the Comet Star, the hidden star from Goldleaf Galaxy, as long as we don't touch this question mark coin. That definitely isn't required to beat the level. Now, I know we haven't talked about it yet, but let's return to Battle Rock and grab the Comet Star. It's only a daredevil run against Top Maniac. Hardly a challenge. And finally, let's pick up a 60th star from Bubble Breeze Galaxy. I expected this one to be difficult on account of having to use the pointer, but actually it's quite easy. Regardless, now with 60 stars under our belt, the time has come to face Bowser in the center of the universe. But first, we should probably take a closer look at those more troublesome stars I said we'd save for later. Let's start with Beach Bowl's hidden star, wall jumping up waterfalls. This hidden star is all about cataquacks. Unfortunately, the level designers in Super Mario Galaxy love to place trails of star bits directly underneath things that you have to get by using cataquacks. If you're unfamiliar with cataquacks, the way they work is that once they touch you, they launch you straight up into the sky. This level places you in the position where you have to get a star by using a cataquack, and that star has a trail of star bits directly beneath it. To make matters worse, we also happen to be using the ice flower to get this star. The ice flower makes our aerial spin, that we would normally use to overcome such an obstacle, absolutely pitiful. Nevertheless, since the star is a fair bit beneath us at the apex of the cataquack's launch, it actually isn't all that difficult to launch next to the star and then spin and fall on top of it. Ultimately, this star looked a whole lot more difficult than it actually was. While we're on the topic of cataquacks, let's talk about Goldleaf Galaxy's second star, Cataquack to the Skies. This one has a whole lot more bite to it. You wouldn't know it from the first half of the level, though. This star has about a minute and a half of gameplay before anything actually gets all that challenging. This, in and of itself, is bad for us, however, since collecting a starbit forces us to start the level over from the beginning. So this minute and a half of ease just ends up wasting a bunch of our time every time we fail, which happened a lot. The culprit? This mess of a planet. First of all, the shape of this planet is ridiculous. As a result, the gravity and general navigation around the planet is non-conducive at the best of times. Often you find yourself getting launched by a cataquack to a completely different part of the planet, and not uncommonly straight into a starbit. And just as an aside, have I mentioned the sheer quantity of starbits on this planet? Well, now I have. Annoyingly, there is even a starbit located on this super thin part of the planet that you have to stand on to get to the launch star. Honestly, even on my successful attempt, I really didn't figure that one out. I just kinda got launched into the right place. But that's not all, folks. Because even after we get past this planet, a new planet with new dangers appears. You see, this planet has the star on it, and in order to beat the level, we need to touch the star. In order to touch the star, we need to cross these flowers. In order to cross these flowers, we need to be a bee. In order to be a bee, we need to get the bee mushroom that is directly over this column of starbits. To make matters worse, if in our attempt to get the bee mushroom we touch a starbit, we have to start the whole level over again. Luckily for us, though, this is the exact same scenario we had already seen at Beach Bowl. The only real difference is that this time touching the roard at the top of the pillar of starbits won't end the level. Good thing it's the bee mushroom. With great caution, we are able to launch ourselves with the cataquack, spin into the mushroom, then immediately start flying to avoid those evil starbits. And with that, the rest of the level just falls into place. Next on the chopping block is Ghostly Galaxy's third star, Beware of Bouldergeist. Once again, we are talking about a very specific roadblock, this planet. The way you're supposed to get past it is by using the low sling pod to get to one of the higher sling pods, to then get you to the sling star. Unfortunately for us, the higher sling pods have starbits in exactly the direction we'd want to be launching in. There's no way to get this sling star from the second floor just by jumping either, so we have to use a sling pod. We can get an angle from the first sling pod that gets us launching in the direction of the sling star, but unfortunately it doesn't quite launch us far enough to use the star. What we can do, however, is once we've reached the apex of the launch, we can wall jump and then spin into the sling star and get off this planet. The maneuver itself isn't all that difficult. What I had trouble with was not collecting star bits with the cursor. We had just had to point at the screen to use the sling pod while shaking the wheel around. But with a few tries I did manage it, and with that obstacle conquered, the only threat left on this star is accidentally collecting star bits during the boss fight, which, with a bit of patience, we can easily avoid doing. Space Junk Galaxy's first star, Polestar Path, gave me a lot of trouble. Kind of fitting, really. I mean, what are starbits if not the definition of space junk? Let me just summarize that trouble for you by showing footage of my first attempt at the star.
Yes! Wah!
That's right. Mere seconds after entering the level, my cursor picked up some mystery starbits through a platform. In this level, nowhere is safe from those evil, scheming starbits. They're floating through space during Polestar sections, they're on planets with Polestars in them that you have to point at, and will even be collected through the planet. They rain from the sky on the small planets, even to the point where sometimes when you use a launch star, you just land on one and have to start the level over. And let me remind you that due to this level's focus on Polestars, you have to point the cursor at the screen throughout the level. Other levels had one tough maneuver, but Polestar Path is a near constant barrage of small challenges over the course of the entire level. And remember, one slip up sends us all the way back to the very beginning. But, nevertheless, every challenge this star presents is doable, and with a bit of perseverance, this star is well within our reach. Earlier I branded an entire galaxy as one we would have to talk about later. Let's do that now. So what exactly makes all three main stars in Battle Rock Galaxy such a pain? Let's go star by star. Star number 1 has this monstrosity of a way to get onto a platform. I initially thought this might make the level impossible, but you can in fact bounce off the very edge of the spring and avoid all the starbits. After that, you need to worry about tons of starbits raining throughout the rest of the level. It's tense, but ultimately this level can be beaten without collecting any starbits. And I even remembered not to touch a question mark coin. Would you believe that? Star 2 isn't particularly difficult, but does have a moment that requires some out-of-the-box thinking. The path you're supposed to take with these Polestars is absolutely covered with starbits. The solution? Use a life mushroom and coins to destroy these space mines and avoid the starbits altogether. Star 3 is home to yet another transition that looks impossible. During the 2D section you come across this shaft, I suppose. As you can see, it has starbits going straight down the middle of it. It would seem that there's no way to fall down the shaft without collecting those evil Mario blocking starbits. Good thing you actually can. If you're careful, you can just slide down the wall and not touch a single starbit. After getting past that obstacle, the only thing that could hope to pose a challenge is the boss fight, and well, yes, this fight is in a very enclosed space. It's Top Maniac, guys. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of physics against this guy being a challenge. So, overall, while each level has a portion that at first glance might seem impossible, in reality they all can be beaten without succumbing to the temptation to grab those star-shaped sweets. Now what about Honey Hive? Well, most of the first star is pretty easy to do without getting starbits. It helps that the bee mushroom allows us to fly, which gives us more options when dodging the starbits. We can actually get all the way to the queen without much incident. Now all that's left to do is collect the star chips and launch star to the power star. Except this happens. Using this launch star makes Mario automatically collect 4 starbits. This is obviously non-conducive to our no starbit run, so I tried just about every way I could think of to use a launch star. I tried spinning while above it, I tried spinning while on the ground beneath it, I tried spinning while suspended within it. But no matter what approach you take, there is no way to use this launch star without collecting 4 starbits. And of course, there's no way off this planet without using the launch star. And if we can't get off this planet, then we can't get the power star and finish the level. Unless, of course, we don't go to this planet in the first place. You see, the star in this level is on the first planet, so perhaps we can go straight to it without leaving the first planet at all. If we want to pull this off, we need to get to the top of that tree. I know for a fact that we can get here through clever use of the bee mushroom. If we can then somehow get on top of this tree, then perhaps we can use this tree to get to the tree with the star. So let's try it. Getting to the base of the starless tree is easy. All we have to do is use the swing, then fly onto the bar holding the swing, then from there we can fly across from this plateau to the other one. After that, we bounce on a bug to fly around this rock and onto this little path. From there, flying up to this wall jump section from level 2 is very simple. Alright, now, how about getting on that tree? Oh, it seems that our bee power doesn't quite get us high enough. Perhaps there really isn't another way. I mean, if flying won't get us there, what chance do we really have? A backflip spin, wall jump spin, that's what? That's right, as regular Mario with the right timing and angle, it's possible to do a backflip away from the tree, then spin back towards it, and start sliding down the wall. From there, we can do a wall jump, then spin again to land on top of the tree. Mission accomplished, right? Well, no. First of all, we need to get onto the other tree. And secondly, this first tree is a sloped surface that Mario just slides off after landing on. We may be in a place that the designers never intended us to get to, but that doesn't really matter if we can't make use of it. However, you might not know this, but slopes in Super Mario Galaxy are really just a suggestion. A suggestion that we are going to blatantly ignore right now. You see, there is a tactic in Super Mario Galaxy commonly used by speedrunners called slope climbing. It works like this. If you slide down a slope on your butt, then jump in the direction that you're sliding, i.e. down the slope, then Mario is considered to be more or less doing a normal jump, instead of this pitiful hop he does when trying to go against the slope. Since we're now jumping normally, we can do a spin in the air to help us adjust our mid-air momentum, and start going back towards the slope instead of away from it. Using this tactic, it's possible to land higher on the slope than you were when you initially jumped. You then repeat the process as many times as necessary to climb the desired slope. Using slope climbing, we can theoretically get anywhere we want on this first tree, and then hopefully, we'll be able to somehow jump to the other tree once we're up there. That's the plan. So I went to work trying to get to that tree and skip that despicable colluding launch star. Wish me luck. After over 5.5 hours, we did it. We cleared B Mario Takes Flight not only without collecting a single starbit, but also without using the bee mushroom either. And with that roadblock out of the way, it's time to face Bowser at the center of the universe. It sure seems Bowser has been generous with the starbits, but no matter. We've been through worse than these posers, and these rings may look scary, but a simple spin jump clears them no problem. The lava, ice, and sand planets all go by without incident, and now we come to a 2D section. These can be tricky, but we've gotten through them in the past, even when they looked impossible. We can just crouch into these starbits, this wall jump can be entirely avoided with a damage boost, and this wall jump, this one's a bit trickier. I started by trying to time the wall jumps in such a way that I went in between the starbits. But I just could not get the timing to a point where I didn't collect at least one of them. I tried the good old backflip spin wall jump spin, but couldn't quite get high enough to dodge the top starbits. I tried triple jumping but found that I didn't have enough space. I tried getting the platforms to appear in a non-standard order, but found no success with that tactic. Having just about run out of options, I called in Luigi, but he too failed at all the things I had tried with Mario. I tried to see if maybe it was possible to skip the section entirely, and I did successfully escape the gravitational pull of the sand planet, but just ended up falling to my death, ironically enough. As it turns out, the default gravity in this level, when you're not under the influence of a specific body, goes in the opposite direction we would need it to. I took a break from trying things myself to see if perhaps there was a speedrun out there with some incredible skip we could utilize, and found that most speedrunners do that particular part basically in the normal way. And so, after hours of trying to avoid these starbits, I gave up. As far as I can tell, the best you can do in this section of the level is collect one starbit. And you don't know how disappointed I am at that. Unfortunately, it does seem to be impossible to beat Super Mario Galaxy without collecting a single starbit. But can we settle for the one starbit run? No. It gets worse. We still haven't talked about Good Egg Galaxy's second star yet. Do you want to know the name of that star? A Snack of Cosmic Proportions. This level is essentially the Hungry Luma tutorial. Once again, I couldn't find any sort of skip that would allow us to avoid feeding this Luma, and beating this level is just as mandatory as beating the final level. At this point in the game, we have 2 stars under our belt. Honey Hive Galaxy doesn't unlock until we have 3, Comets don't unlock until we have 13, and the Hidden Star doesn't exist until we've beaten a level in Ghostly Galaxy. Put simply, there is no way to beat the game without beating this level, and there is no way, as far as I know, that anyone has discovered to beat this level without feeding the Hungry Luma. So, what's the price? 100 starbits. That is how many starbits must be collected to get past this level. So, that's our total up to 101 starbits collected. But we're not done yet! Before entering this level, the game throws up a mandatory tutorial about starbits. You cannot continue the game until you have fed this Luma 5 starbits. There is no way that I know of to avoid this either. The pole star is gone while this tutorial is taking place, so you can't just skip it. You're not even allowed to leave the terrace until you feed this extortionist Luma. Even if you do something crazy like quit out of the game and load back up, as soon as you enter the terrace, this tutorial will assault you. So, in summary, is it possible to beat Super Mario Galaxy without collecting any starbits? Unfortunately, no. Based on my experience, it would seem that the minimum number of starbits required to beat the game is 106. And you know what? I can live with that. We really gave it our all and achieved a number much lower than I think most people would expect, especially if you discount those 105 starbits that are essentially part of a mandatory tutorial about starbits. But you know what? Give it a shot yourself. The no starbit run, or I guess really low starbit run, is definitely a fresh experience that adds a nice meteor challenge to the game, and to an extent fundamentally changes the way you play. And who knows, maybe you can manage to shave a few starbits off the total. But anyways, guys, I've been CMeeCraft, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to share your support with likes, comments, subscriptions, because this was a big project. If I'm going to make more of these, then I'll want to be sure there's something you guys actually want to see. I suppose the next logical step would be Super Mario Galaxy 2 no starbits. So if you guys like this video, be on the lookout for that one. And until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, and I'll catch you in the next video, whether Super Mario Galaxy 2 no starbits, or something else. Goodbye.
Wow!